Welcome to our new Pick the Brain podcast. I'm Dr. Caleb Frankel. I'm an ER vet by trade and founder of Instinct. And we're starting this new project because over the years of building Instinct, we've been really fortunate to get to know a lot of really forward-thinking hospital leaders in our space, and they tend to self-select for Instinct. So we get a leg up on that. And so we thought we'd try something new. We're doing a short form podcast to help share learning in the vet space from hospital leaders on all things operations, leadership, ownership, industry trends, technology, anything. So today I have one of my all-time favorites on Pick the Brain. Dr. Peggy Sayer is a veterinary cardiologist and owner and co-founder of CARE, or Charlotte Animal Referral Emergency, obviously in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Peggy has become a friend over the years. And Peggy and myself, I'll tell you, share a bond because we both are Terps. We went to the University of Maryland, so go Terps. But Peggy's also one of those forward-thinking folks in our space, and as a longtime sort of partner, early adopter, super user, I would say, maybe of Instinct. I'll lead in with a funny story. I hope it's okay that I tell this, but Peggy and the CARE team hold the record for 2025's best hospital visit of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So the story is last year, Peggy invited me and one of our leaders, Brian, to come visit. And, we thought we were showing up to get a tour and talk about, all the cool things Instinct's going to be developing for them this year. And we got wind ahead of our visit that Peggy had actually told her team that Caleb and Brian were coming so you could grill them. And so we said, oh, we can handle this. So we showed up in a hot dog and hamburger costume, which was really awesome. So
is there any way to add that as an accessory to the podcast, the picture of you guys within the hot dog and hamburger? Because that was amazing.
I'm sure my team can do it, but I hope they don't. So we've got some great photos, but thank you for being here, Peggy.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I appreciate you taking time. So there's so much that I can pick your brain on, but I'm actually having you here today because I want to specifically talk about one thing that you do that I think is really awesome, and that is leadership coaching, meaning you have a coach as a leader. Peggy and I have talked about this over the years, but we're big believers in having a coach. And honestly, I don't think that's very common for veterinary leaders. And I think maybe that should change. So, I guess my first question is, I've had several coaches on and off over the years. As I've learned to be a software company CEO, I never thought to do it when I was a hospital leader in emergency medicine, but you do this as a hospital leader. And, there's a saying that it's lonely at the top, right? And so, I think that goes towards a little bit of, why you do this, but maybe just first talk about how you thought to get a coach. When did this come up? Why? And how long you've been doing this, and give us a little overview.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that, so we opened CARE in 2015, and I mean, it was a bumpy road. And we've actually hired several coaches for the business over time. And I'll be honest, the first couple were rough. And then I really, it's probably like an achiever part or something, but I really want to be great at this, and never took a business class. I'm not even sure I ever took a leadership class. This is like School of Hard Knocks, for sure. So I was talking to my therapist actually, and said, I think I need a CEO coach. And he was like, huh, I totally know somebody. And so he referred me to my coach. And boy, it's been amazing. Really amazing.
That's awesome. So yeah, tell us about it. So what's the impact been on you as a leader over the years? What surprised you about working with a coach, and tell us about how frequently you work with them. Anything you can share. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So I see her every other week, and when I think about surprises, Well, I mean, I guess my coach, I think that I went into coaching with the like, I need someone to tell me that we need to do a competitive advantage analysis every 6 months, not every 2 years. I was really looking for that
Tactical
sort of
advice, like, yeah,
tactical,
yeah,
exactly, which I realize more and more as veterinarians, like that's what we love, right? Like I want to diagnose it and then I want to figure out what drug it needs and then I want to move on to the next thing. And that's not what this is. It's more like therapy. But what is fascinating is that when you get the relationships right, the tactical pieces just fall into place, right? And they're not so
mm,
much work, and the chemistry within them is so much better. So, I mean, I think, a big, like a big lesson, a surprise and something 4 years later that she's still, this was our conversation yesterday. She explained it once of like, it's like there's a maze and you are like in the maze with your sword and you're like, hand to hand combat and you're trying to get through the maze. And what I need you to do is crawl to the top of the wall. And I need you to look down over the maze and I need you to assess what is going on because, again, I was being very tactical and I
mm,
was fighting the fire that was in front of me. And she needed me to assess what was going on big picture. And that was helpful. I thought I was doing it. And, 4 years later to this day, she's still like, okay, let's get up here again.
mm,
Um, I think the other thing that really sort of landed in a way was, I would bring to her like, oh, I'm so frustrated with how this person's performing or what they're doing or not doing or blah, blah, blah. And she said, that's really interesting. And what kind of leader do you need to be to get them where you want them?
mm.
And I was like, no, 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 this is about them. And she's like, no, 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 right here. It's about you, and that consistent U-turn of like, what's my role in how this is going? Even when I just want her to say, yeah, it sounds like they're being really annoying. And, she's like, all right, well, what's your role? What conversations do you need to have?
Mm.
Those things. So it's real, big picture personal growth stuff
Yeah.
that when I'm doing my work, everything else is easier.
Yeah, I found the same thing. I mean, it's it's a blind spot flashlight for me sometimes,
Hmm.
right? And you can't in engineering you call it rubber ducking when you just talk out a problem and you don't even need the other person there. Sometimes just talking about it
Hmm.
helps you figure out something complex. And but I found it's a little more than that because often they're pointing out things that I'm just completely missing because I'm there.
Exactly.
Sounds like the
Yep.
same thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I was uh, listening to, not reading the book, The AI Driven Leader, and
mm,
something he says again and again is you can't read the ingredients when you're inside the box.
yep,
Like
yep,
you need someone with some fresh perspective, and she's that. So that's the first thing. So that's me. But then she also, like I think I mentioned to you, we were at our owners retreat. So we have 6 owners
yep.
of the practice, the 3 founders, and then we brought on 3 associates. We were at our owners retreat last weekend. She facilitated that whole retreat.
Cool.
And we left with, a new competitive advantage statement, a new financial health statement, and some really amazing like sharing and bonding. And I mean, so she actually she coaches a lot of people within care and then also helps us, um, again, big picture, which is really, it's a game changer.
That's
I
amazing.
mean, yeah, I think that where she really saved our bacon was, the time when we were bringing on the new associates. We had a lot of communication problems. We had a lot of misunderstanding, and it was really perfect timing that she was moving into that role with us, and she was just able to make us have some really hard conversations and just be super vigorously honest with each other. And it was the difference between us having those associates come on and not,
Mm,
which, if associates don't come on, then what are we doing? Selling to corporate? Like, we feel
mm.
really strongly that's not what we want to do. So, I mean, it was a game changer, honestly.
That's amazing. So you said she's now the same coach is working with some of your co-owners and maybe
Mhm.
teammates. Is that something you put
Yeah.
in place where care pays for this for other employees? And how did that start?
Um, let's see. I think it came out of this thing where she was my coach, and then we were really having this turmoil with the associates who we wanted to become members, but we just could not. Um, like we could not make it mesh. And so as she helped us with that, then she started doing coaching. She coaches um, at least once a month, 5 out of the 6 owners, plus our chief hospital administrator, and then our 3 lead managers.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah,
Maybe last question. So, for somebody who doesn't have a coach and hasn't
yeah,
thought about doing this, and they run a hospital or they're a practice manager or a leader and they want to grow, it sounds like you kind of fell into your coach, but
yeah,
you also mentioned something at the beginning, and this is an experience I've had, which is I didn't think coaches were valuable, and that was because I had worked with some coaches that just didn't work for me before I
yeah.
found some.
Mhm.
So, what's your advice for finding a good coach? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, and so I it was great because leading into this podcast, I asked her, I was like, how do other people find a coach? Because I, lucked out. And then the first couple we had were sort of meh.
Yeah,
And so we had this really juicy conversation, which was great.
cool.
And so, referral was the obvious one. Someone else tells you, which is great. I think she said too, like Google and LinkedIn are good resources, but I think also remembering vets are just different, like I don't know how often you find this, but regularly like we deal with someone in another industry and they're like just so like bottom line driven and blah blah blah, and I'm like, but where's the heart?
Yeah,
It's
that's our whole industry.
um
Yeah,
yeah, and I think coming at a coach remembering that as vets we look at things differently is important.
yeah,
Like, does their online presence feel very like buttoned up and like, corporate power suit and that, or, are they more relaxed, and which one's better for you,
yeah,
given what you're looking for. And then once you maybe choose, a couple people that you want to interview, the idea of asking them, what are their growing edges? What are they working on? Who do they work on that with?
yeah,
Even saying like, tell me about a time it hasn't worked out with a client. Just to see, are they pretty introspective and straight up with you and honest? When it's going really well with a client, like what's happening, what does progress look like, all of
yeah,
those, and put them through their paces a bit. And someone who is working and growing and doing that stuff will be able to dive pretty deep with you and have an exciting conversation, where someone who's maybe more prescriptive or trying, I just, man, when the trouble is just so often people see this and they want to put it in this box and make it fit in there. And I think, I just want someone who is gonna where it's gonna be more of a boutique feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but Atul Gawande, the author of the Checklist Manifesto
Hmm.
book, um, he has this great TED talk, and I think there's like a New Yorker article, maybe we can find this and put it in the show notes. But it's a great talk on physicians getting coaches, um,
Mm.
and I think just medical professionals, and I would say veterinary medical professionals especially, because we have no business training, which is a dirty little secret nobody knows, and we become people like you who run this giant business, successful community, important business. But we're out there and we have no training on this and we're figuring it out. We
Mhm.
can benefit from this even more than most, I think. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you joining to talk about it. I always wrap up with 2 questions here. So So this is a little related, what is one leadership lesson, maybe you learned the hard way, that you are okay sharing, that's cost you time or money or something? I call this 2x4 advice, sort of in the journey as a leader. There's always 2x4s that are sticking out around the corner. What's one thing
Yeah.
you would share that maybe you can help people duck every once in a while?
Well, I mean, as you said this, and this may not be later, I'm probably going to look back and go, damn it, I wish I'd thought of something better than this. But the first real 2x4 when we opened care was me underestimating how emotional, angry, just upset people would get around money, and I, I
You
think my
mean
relationship,
clients or the team?
staff,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
partners,
yep.
whomever, that I think my relationship with money is a little more avoid it and don't think about it. And so I think I don't get emotional about it.
You're a
But
veterinarian. Surprise.
hey, look at that. I mean, the 2x4, I think being really conscientious when you are talking about someone else's money,
Yeah.
being really conscientious and intentional and honoring like what that may strike for them. I mean, boy, oh boy. So
Good one.
later I'm going to want to be like, oh, actually the unicorns and rainbows is
We'll
what I
have you on it.
really wanted to
Don't
say.
worry. No, I think
Okay.
it's a great one. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Okay, last one is, what is one underrated tool or feature or process of your hospital that if you took this away tomorrow, your team would riot? And I always say besides instinct, of course. So,
Of course.
yeah.
An underrated tool. Hmm. I mean, I guess the thing, and again, I'm half an hour from now, I'm going to be like, oh, shoot. Scribble is really, AI transcription is
Yep.
becoming like um, a table stake for us around here.
That's awesome.
And I, it's great. And I am absolutely not an early adopter of anything. My partner Amy is the IT early adopter person. But man, oh man, to just have that 25-minute phone call with the client, like summarized, transcribed, and I just need to like go in and edit a few things. Whoo, dog. I mean, that is really something. And it's been so nice. It's so nice for ER, honestly,
It
because
is.
they will
Yeah.
take the phone in with them. And when the client says, well, that was never said to me or whatever, and not to be like, yes it was, suck it. It's more like, no, like you were emotional and there was a lot going on, but like this is how we went through it, and to
Yep.
have that, because eyewitness testimony is trash, right? Like it's just a really nice tool. So I
Unbiased.
think right now
Yeah.
AI transcription
I
is
love it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. I still if I use ScribbleVet in the clinic, I get goosebumps because of how much it saves me time. I mean, it's one of those
Yeah.
pieces of technology. So I
Yeah.
love it.
And there's part of it where I'm like, man, this is like, it's putting too much in there. And then I'm like, well, I
Maybe I should have
mean,
been doing that all along, is what I say.
maybe I should, right? Exactly. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that would have been better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time, and have a great day.
It's my pleasure. Anytime I get to see you is a good day. So I appreciate
Feelings mutual.
it.